other people that are part of this meeting. We also welcome the Premier in absentia because we know that he's on his way to this meeting. I will then move to apologies. The apology that we have received is only one. Oh no, there are two. Is one for Honorable Mlotshwa, who's attending the Education Portfolio Committee that started at 9. The other apology was from the DG, who is not well. These are the two apologies that we are having. Can we have a mover for these apologies?
I move, Chair.
Oh, Honorable Kwala, move for the record. Any seconder?
Honorable MPP Zungu wants to second.
Honorable MPP Zungu is seconding the apologies. Any other view on this matter? Apologies? I take that the apologies are accepted. I will then move to the adoption of the agenda, honorable members. Can we have a mover for the adoption of the agenda or any? Honorable Zungu.
Yes, Salo. Thank you. I would like to propose that we approve the agenda up to the item that deals with the matters arising, because that's one we received on time. But the rest, I think we are not at liberty to entertain since we're struggling with finishing the documents.
Thank you very much. The mover is that we don't consider item 9 downwards because of the late submission on it. Honorable Mthembu.
Hello,
RT. Oh, there are two.
Okay. No, I want to concur with the last speaker. That we can move with the agenda except up to item 8. Item 9, we've got some reservation, if not objection, to continue with those items because we have received reports. Some of us arrived very late, others got it piece by piece, and it was on the eve of, so we've got a problem with item 9. So with that amendment, we can move the agenda up to item 8.
Okay, I want to welcome Honorable Premier to the meeting. We welcome you, sir, to the meeting. We were reported that there was a technical problem for you to enter, not that you were late in the meeting. We are aware of that. A warm hearty welcome, sir.
Thank you, Chair, and greetings to all honorable members. Thank you.
Okay. Colleagues, there is a proposal that we deal with from item 1 to item 8 and leave those item 9 because members, they got it in the morning because it was sent late yesterday. Any other take on that? Can I take any other view on that? On the proposal that we deal with those items only?
But why I project?
Okay, there is no opposing view. It means that I take it that we are moving to these particular items. And I think, Honorable Premier, the members are having concern on the receival of the documents very late. I don't know whether the DG has apologized because we know that the reports, the officials are responsible for the reports. The Premier does make an oversight on them, like us. I think the members are having a concern to say that the oversight role is the most critical instrument to play an oversight and make the departments account on their work or on their plans, policies, implementation of policies, programs, and the budget. So if we can get the documents so late, it becomes very difficult for the members to really engage on the documents, because amongst the other paramount strategy for effective and meaningful oversight role is through analyzing and scrutinizing documents from departments in order to contribute meaningfully in the work of our government with common vision of changing the lives of the people of KwaZulu-Natal for the better. So if we get the documents late, it's a problem. And here we are dealing with fourth quarter. If we are dealing with a fourth quarter report, it is having an impact on the annual reports. So we can't get it late, because if we don't deliberate and scrutinize, analyze, and contribute and make suggestions on those particular reports, it becomes a problem, because it has got an impact on the annual report, it has impact on the Auditor General, it has got impact on the SCOPA reports. So for us as members of the legislature, we take our work very seriously. And we think also the officials must take their work very seriously, because really this is the highest office in the province. And if the highest office under the Premier, the first citizen, the officials are not doing their work, it becomes a problem for us, because this office will be rendered as the office that is not working. But it is not. We know the efforts the Premier is making to try to play an oversight and account. He's always with us to come and account. All the time, he's here because he respects us. But if the officials are not going to respect this portfolio committee and give the report on the last minute, we are not going to accept that. So we are throwing them away, Honorable Premier, so that they take their work very serious. And they cannot do that in this highest office in our presence, and we look at it. And we are not saying anything. All the time we raise this matter, even on the 10th of March, the members requested me to raise it, to say that we are having a concern for getting the reports later. And the Premier also commented that it is wrong for us to be given the reports later. So now today, because they did but it's worse today, because some of the members, they saw the report this morning. And Honorable Kwala is indicating, he phoned me early in the morning and said, the pages, they doesn't have all the pages on the document because of the late submission. So we have agreed as the portfolio committee that we are not going to entertain this. I think we must recommend that in principle, the OTP must submit documents to the portfolio committee at least a week before the portfolio committee is convened. However, an exemption will be given in an unforeseen, or if the portfolio committee is convened in an urgent manner. So we will allow that one. But in the normal meeting, what is worse is that as a legislature, we do give the calendar to the departments for the meetings, to say when the meetings are they going to take place. The department, they know that their reports, because it's only one quarter that they were supposed to report on us, but they are failing to give us those reports. So we are saying as a portfolio committee, Honorable Premier, we want the officials to really do justice to the work that they are being given, because they were trusted with this work because of the expertise they have also to assist. To us, the budget analyst is no more working. The researcher is no more working for our portfolio committee, because if they get the report in the last minute, they can't analyze those reports. They can't give it to us, and then when we ask questions to them to say maybe this is a technical thing that we have seen, how do we deal with this? We don't get any that advice. As a chair, even myself, I can't sit with my management committee to deal with the matters on the documents, because we don't get the documents on time. Hence, we are saying, Honorable Premier, we understand your commitment. This thing is not directed to you because you always respect us, but we want your officials also to respect this portfolio committee and give us the documents on time. That is the reason, Honorable Premier, I wanted to appraise you with that reasons for us not to go forward with this particular. Even the study groups, other study groups were meeting yesterday, wanted to see the documents. There were no documents. So we are not going to make justice if we can continue with this document, because we don't want to rubber stamp the reports of the officials. We want to scrutinize it, we want to analyze it, we want to engage on them with an understanding after we have read them. That is the problem, Honorable Premier, that we are having as a portfolio committee. But we appreciate your respect you always give to us, your accountability to us. You take time, even if we are having problems, and be with us. So these are the reasons, Honorable Premier. Can I then move to the next item, which is the remarks? Hello? Is there anyone talking? Sorry, can we request all of us to close our mics? You will only open it when we are talking. Okay.
Chair.
Honorable Mthembu, NR. No, can you open your mic, sir?
Okay, Chairman. No, I just wanted to check in terms of your opening remarks, what it means to the item that you were discussing. Is for a discussion, or you are giving a particular direction? Because one would want to find a situation where, because this is a misconduct by lighter words. So therefore, which need to be resolved, because we are supposed to do our work, and we couldn't do our work because of the poor arrangement, which need to be explained to us, so that as a portfolio committee, there is a decision and a direction we take in regard to this matter. So I just wanted that clarity, Chairman.
Okay, we will be giving the Premier to make the remarks. Maybe he can touch on that and then refer to relevant officials to respond on what we have said.
All right, covered, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Mthembu. Can I then call upon our Premier to make a remarks? Honorable Premier.
No, thanks, Honorable Chair. We would like to extend our greetings to you, Honorable Chairperson, and all members of the Portfolio Committee, honorable members of the Portfolio Committee and the Legislature. Extend our greetings to the DG and all officials, as well as officials from the Legislature. We meet here, Honorable Chair and members, having our country and the province been part of close to 2 months in a lockdown due to the challenge of COVID-19. It is a challenge that has altered the way we live and the way we work. It affected us in all fronts, and it continues to affect us. We are trying to mitigate the effect of COVID-19 through the work we are doing as government in the Provincial Command Council. And we would like to ensure that, or to assure members, that we are working coherently and ceased with the work of trying to mitigate the effect. However, the contradictory environment wherein we will find ourselves having to deal much with protecting and safeguarding the life of our people, but also ensuring that our people at the same time are protected from hunger, poverty, and unemployment. We then have to balance both interests and ensure that we navigate the space. But also the fact that we have also number of social activities that need to happen that are in a way related to the livelihood of our people. So the government is working on plans to ensure that as there is consultation that is led by the president for the country to progress to level 3, that also KwaZulu-Natal progress to level 3. That will come with lot of implications, which we will all have to manage. And that's why in the Executive Council, we've recommended that by next week, members of the legislature should be requested to join a program of assessing the state of readiness in schools, so that we will all be certain that schools are in a proper conditions for opening. Though we know that by the 1st, it is 1st of June, it is expected that only the matric class and grade 7 will open. But it is important that we are hands-on and we are there. We will also be working on putting strict measures in ensuring that when those who are in the economic sector are opening up, more stringent measures, especially social distancing, hand hygiene, and all other measures that are required to protect our people are observed and adhered to. We are seeing what have been contained as a steady increase. So the numbers of infections continue to increase, but at the same time, it is no longer the same as it was before. It was quite escalating in a very, very surprising way. But since the interventions by the government, I think we've tried to do our best. However, we've seen this happening in other countries. Number of countries have opened up, but also they are now considering closing, meaning going back to the lockdown again. So those are issues because we're dealing with a situation which is not which is unprecedented, and therefore we are learning by the way. These are issues that we need to look on how to mitigate living with the COVID-19, because it is clear that it is something that we'll have to adapt and ensure that we live with. And I'm sure, Honorable Chair, this imposed a new normal, which is the new normal life we are living, including the fact that we are meeting like this, and including the fact that we will not be able to meet in numbers beyond what is regulated. As the Office of the Premier, we are also working on ensuring that the annual performance plan as adopted in the previous year, we work to ensure that it is completed. But we've been also working on the program or process to ensure that through GC, which is government, state capacity, state institutions and capacity development, the GC cluster, working to ensure that when workers in the public service goes back to work, all measures that are in place and all measures that are required are in place, and therefore all workers feel protected. And we will ensure that that is implemented by all departments. So when we talk about the reopening of schools, there is a plan that is on board, that is in place. And when we talk about reopening of offices, we also have offices and departments for our workers as government. We also have a plan that we have put in place to ensure that the protective measures are also adhered to. Let me take this opportunity to finally reaffirm our commitment to respect as well as ensure transparency and account. And we must do that in a professional way. We note the remarks, but also they are fair. Those remarks are fair because if the documents were not were not provided on time to members of the portfolio committee, it becomes impossible for members to deal with the report and process them as expected. We therefore would like to commit that we will engage with the EXCO and understand what happened and ensure that we take accountability on that so that it doesn't recur going forward. We know, as a matter of fact, that document must be given to members at least a week before. And this is not in line with that. And we would have to, we will sincerely apologize, but we will follow on it and ensure that it is corrected as we go forward. Let me take the opportunity to thank you, Chair, and once again apologize to all members. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Honorable Premier. Thanks for the remarks that you have put forward before us and the understanding of what really the government is doing to try to curb this scourge. And also the understanding, maybe when we get to the report on the COVID-19, because maybe we want to hear more on the stage 3, as you have indicated that there are measures that are being taken, and also maybe understand the implications thereof when we go to stage 3. Thank you very much, Honorable Premier. I think also you have indicated, touched on the issue that is a concern to all of the members. We appreciate Honorable Premier. We know that your commitment to this committee is very high, because you are always with us, and the problems we are having, you are with us. Imagine if you were not part of this meeting and we are having this problem that we are having, and nobody's going to respond to us to say that it's going to follow up and make sure that this thing never happens again. But we understand that 7 days, as a matter of principle, within a week. But if there are any urgent matters, also it can be allowed maybe to be 2 days before 1 day, because it is a matter of urgency, but not the standing meeting that is planned, that we can get this reports very late. Thank you very much, Honorable Premier. Can we then move to the next item? You said we are beaming it, Mr. Ntuli?
Yeah.
Honorable Kwala?
No, I think we need to say something after the Premier has made his remarks.
Or you are requesting that because we're thinking that the discussion is under 6.
Oh, okay.
It's on the item 6, where we are going to deliberate, take into consideration what the Premier has raised together with the COVID, because COVID-19, and then the comments that you'll make.
No, it's fine.
Okay, thank you. Can we move to the next item, the questions and discussions on COVID-19? Here, Honorable Speaker, we have agreed as the committee to say that because this particular presentation or the report of COVID-19 that was disrupted by a technical problem is outdated now. It has overtaken by some events. We felt that we'll allow the members to have the questions and discussions on COVID-19 and also touched on what you have presented to us this morning. So we think that we are not going to start from scratch doing the presentation, because as the portfolio committee, we did have time to read, scrutinize, analyze, and see it. That's why we submitted the questions to your department to say that these are the questions that came out from the meeting when we're discussing. But if there are other outstanding matters or questions, the members will raise those particular questions and maybe get more understanding on what is going to take place during the level 3 that we are moving to. So this is how we are going to approach this, because we thought that if we say they must continue doing the presentation, it will be a waste of time, because already we deliberated on them and then submitted the question. It's only to continue with the questions going forward. Can I invite the colleagues if there are any matters that they want to discuss, including the presentation by the Premier this morning, Honorable Kwala, if you want to have a take?
I think, Honorable Chair, I greet you and the Honorable Premier, colleagues and officials. I think, Chair, it is important to thank the Premier for the comments, and these comments are honest comments, and that the Premier respect the portfolio committee, and we are happy with that. And we also thank the Premier and the Provincial Command Council for the work well done. We know that there are some challenges with regard to this COVID-19, because it's a new thing which has arrived in late 2019 as well as 2020. Nobody is an expert on it, and we'll always expect some mistakes from everybody. But at present, we are happy with what our Premier is doing in the province. We also appreciate, Honorable Premier, that you involved political leaders. There is a time where you meet with the political leaders in the province and give them update. They ask you questions, you give them answers, they communicate with us. I think that is a very good working relationship at a level of the legislature. I think one needs to commend also and support a clear presentation that was made by our own chairperson, raising our concern about the way in which the staff treats us. It's not only actually from the department of the Premier, because we need to make it clear to the Premier that it is across all departments. It's not only the department of the Premier that is actually doing this to us. I know from experience, I'm one of the members who has been in the legislature for quite some time. There is a tendency among the officials, not the officials, the current officials, and I must be understood. I mustn't be misunderstood that I'm directed to to the current officials of the Department of the Premier. But there is a tendency among officials that, in fact, they believe that bringing documents at the latest hour, they are just sending it to a pack of fools that are brought together in the legislature in order to rubber stamp all what they have done, and they sift information. The cream of the information are put under the carpet, and expect that whatever they present, because it is at the 11th hour, then the members of the legislature will actually agree with what is presented. So it is a serious matter of which we hope that the Honorable Premier will take it. This is not an attack, but it is a request that the Premier is taking it serious. Why I'm saying this is because I don't want this to be taken as if it is just coming from the chairperson of the committee. It comes from all of us. And as we are speaking, there are some documents which came to me last night. In fact, it was almost in the middle of the night because I was asking and asking, but there might be some challenges with the technology. But even that documents that arrived, out of 41 pages, only 22 pages that arrived. And the machine can tell me, that is the system actually, or the gadget, that this could not preview file. There was a problem loading this page. So you can see that if it was given 2 days or 3 days before, then we'll be able to rectify the mistake. I think it is important that I support our chairperson, and I've heard that the Premier has said that he have heard what we are saying. But it will be wrong for me not to raise the issue seriously in support of our chairperson. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kwala. Any take from honorable members?
Yes, Chair.
Chair,
Is it NR?
Yes.
NR, yes, you are given an opportunity to speak. Any other
Yeah.
member? Can I take the hands so that I cannot take it one by one? It's NR Mtembu,
Mnwango.
Mwango. Any other member? At the moment, we are having Honorable NR Mtembu. Over to you, sir.
No, thanks very much. Let me join Honorable Kwala for commending the team in the Provincial Command Council. Really, they have done an excellent work under difficult circumstances, but I think they were able to bring the province together. And I must thank the leadership provided by the Premier to ensure that all political parties, I think in KwaZulu-Natal, were also one of the provinces where there was no gap between political parties. And I think we must thank the Premier for prioritizing the lives of the people, not politicizing the matter and individualizing it. But I think he has provided the leadership. We have learned a lot of, although there are still challenges, particularly in the district where I come from, we're still experiencing the rising of numbers, but we believe that the leadership provided will overcome the situation. So we want to thank everybody who has been involved, but of course led by the Premier. And also one would lament on what has already been said, that it's really disappointing, Chair. The office of the Premier is the highest office in the province, and whoever given a task under that office to ensure that the office of the Premier do what is expected, because it's also exemplary to other departments to ensure that things are done accordingly. And we feel, because we understand the Premier is the one person who wants things to be done in a correct way and do things ethically. So we believe that this it will be corrected. Even the presence official, I'm sure that they understand our feeling, because our feeling is both disturbing us to do our oversight, but at the same time also letting down the office of the Premier. So really we feel that this thing must be corrected, and we believe that it will be corrected moving forward. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you very much, sir. Honorable Mngango.
Yeah, thank you, Chairperson. Greetings to the Premier, honorable members and officials. Chairperson, I think I was to echo what has been said by my colleagues around the issue of the agenda items. It's a pity the DG is not available today so that she can understand exactly the challenges we are facing. This problem has been occurring since from last term. We had this problem. We always raise the issue of late submission of the items so that we can come to these meetings and play our oversight. But I'm hoping that the Premier, on behalf of the DG, he will be able to raise our concerns, and he also understands not a direct attack on his office, but I think it's something that the committee had to do under circumstances so that we can ensure that in future we don't find ourselves having to repeat the same questions and concerns to the committee. So that's one issue, Chair. The second issue around COVID-19, Chair, I was hoping, I'm not sure, Premier, if you are able, or maybe in a future meetings, you are able to, with your team, to give us a presentation on what level 3 entails. Sometimes we can assume we understand while we don't. I'll be interested, if possible, just a summary to say what will be the changes from level 4 to level 3, what we must expect, the do's and don'ts during level 3. That's just my issue, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. I think that was the last hand that was up. Any other comment? So that I can move. I take it we all agree that we appreciate the support we get from the Premier, but we further request that the officials in his department really do justice to us so that we can be in a position to play our oversight role. Give us reports on time so that we can engage on them. And also we will request that maybe another date be sought to deliberate on these documents. And also we'll appreciate that time if the DG will be part of the meeting, and then also the Premier, so that we are in a position to look at them, because we are worried, because this document really have got a very impact on the annual report and on the Auditor General's work, and then also on the Scoper's report. So it is important for us to look at it very closely, all of us with the department present and us as the members of the legislature. Honorable Premier, thank you very much for the work that you are doing for the people of KwaZulu-Natal. We highly appreciate your good work you are doing, and also involving the political parties in the work that you are doing, because this particular matter, as you correctly indicated, calling it the new way of living, it's a new thing that we really don't know. So to involve everybody in the province, it will make us really conquer this pandemic that is facing our nation. Thank you very much. Can I then move to the minutes? The minutes was sent 2 weeks ago because our staff, they give us things on time. We appreciate that the support staff of the portfolio committee on the Premier, they work very hard. They gave us these reports so early so that we can look at them. So I will invite the members to comment on the minutes of the 20th March 2020.
Chairperson,
Honorable, is it Honorable Mngwango?
Chairperson, before the minutes, I was hoping the Premier will be able to respond to what we were raising, because I was expecting him to respond to something I raised.
Or to these things that you have raised? Okay. No, it's fine.
I think it's fair to allow him to respond.
Okay, no, that's fine. Maybe we can invite the Premier, you are correct, on the comments that has been made in his report to comment on them. Honorable Premier.
No, thanks, Chair. I think we can send a document, because we do have a document which is a working framework that guides us across all clusters on what will be allowed and what will not be allowed. And then attached to that, we've then developed what will be allowed at a level of government, what will be happening and done, what is it that we need to do when it comes to social cluster in all departments, and what is it that we need to do when it comes to economic cluster and in all our departments. We can send that document to members of the legislature at a high level, so that we are able to inform them, because it is true that there will be changes, but level 3 does not mean everything is open. For instance, certain sectors of the economy might be opened and others might not. There is a view, for instance, take the issue of construction, where it is expected that many people will be involved. You'll see that they will be scaling down, maybe not opening or opening 50%. What I can say, the industries such as manufacturing in a main are the one now that are going to progress from 50% to 100%. So it goes to sectors by sectors. And then when it comes to schools, we know the matric and level 5 and matric and grade 7 will be the first to open for a month, but also we will examine the capacity going forward to ensure that all departments, as all grades, as they open, we are able to ensure social distancing. So we are going to send that document, that is a guide to all members. Maybe late today, Chairperson. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Honorable Premier. I think we are all happy that we'll be understanding what is entailed in level 3 through the document that our government has compiled. That's why we appreciate the good work that you are doing, Honorable Premier, with your team, Provincial Commands team. Thank you very much for that. I think, Honorable Mngwango, you are now covered. We can move to the minutes that were sent to us. Langreliede. Honorable members, can you talk to the minutes if there are any corrections? If there are any corrections, if there are not, please can we have a mover of the minutes?
Honorable Chair.
Honorable Hlabisa.
Can I greet the Honorable Premier, yourself, Honorable Chair, as well as members of the portfolio. Under corrections, Honorable Chair, on page 3.
Yes.
On page 4, Chairperson, for correctness of records, it is written there under matters arising, line number 3, the funeral of the late Prophet Msebeyelanga, and it ends there. I think for correct records, it should be the funeral of the late Inkosi Vela Msebeyelanga Shembe, because if it stays there, it's not correct.
Okay. Okay, I think the officials are taking it because it's important to write it in full so that we understand who are we talking about. Thank you very much, Honorable Hlabisa. Any other take, colleagues? Hello. Are you still there, members?
Honorable Chair, if there is no other take, I then move for the adoption of the minutes.
Okay, there is a move. Honorable Hlabisa moved the minutes with an amendment that he has made. Any seconder?
Honorable Chair,
Honorable Binjangase?
I second, Chair.
Thank you very much. I was asking whether we are still there, because when we're deliberating on the COVID-19 report, the Premier thought that we were still there because they were listening, only to find that we were no more there, kicked by the system. Okay, any other view on the minutes? I take it the minutes has been approved with the amendment that has been made by Honorable Hlabisa. Any matters arising?
Honorable Chair.
Yes, sir.
I have three matters arising, Chair. The first one is on the funeral of Inkosi Vela Shembe. In the minutes, it is recorded 3.5 million. But if you go to the breakdown of expenditure, it is recorded that the expenditure was 3.9 million. So I would want to understand, firstly, which is the correct figure between 3.5 and 3.9. And also, I wonder, Chair, if we can take into account what happened to the funeral of Madiba in the expenditure and the corruption that was involved. I was looking at the breakdown of the funeral. The transport is over R1 million. But I understand the funeral could not start on time as people were not there. And I wonder who was transported with over R1 million versus the audience in the funeral. And I'm raising this one in relation to what happened in the funeral of the late Madiba. That is the first matter, Honorable Chairperson. And the second matter is regarding the training academy. I thought Chairperson would be given a full understanding on the status of that project, because I don't think it can be just dishing away 20.7 million rand and nothing happens thereafter. If we can be given an understanding as to when the project was stopped, was it the end of the whole project, or there is another plan, because we have already spent 20.7 million on that project. And the last item is on the Youth Empowerment Fund. I looked at the list, though haphazardly, yesterday, Chairperson, and I wondered, where are these projects in some of the areas? Then I would want to understand from the department, before we do an oversight, have they verified the existence of all the funded projects? Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Hlabisa. Yes, I must indicate that when we deal with the matters arising is what was supposed to happen. If we took a decision that one is supposed to happen, and then when it come in the meeting, we asked whether it is done. But the others are for discussions, to say. But the clarity one, it's fine, which is 3.5, because the others are discussions. But the clarity also around the issue of the Youth Empowerment Fund, it can be responded to because it's important, the verification of those particular matters. But all these are matters of discussions, not matters arising, because matters arising is to action on the decision that we took in the previous meeting, and it's matters arising whether it was done. I requested the officials that in future they must just put all the decisions that has been taken. When we come to the meeting, they must just write a progress report and indicate the state where it is in. But also on the clarity of the training academy status, it is important also to get a clarity, because it's only, I look at it, it's only indicating that it's a design that was done and it's went up to 20 point something million. I think maybe the officials will assist us if there are no any other matters arising from the colleagues, because we want to take them and then hand over to the department. No, thank you. There are no.
No, there is.
Oh, NR. Oh, it's Honorable Kwala. Oh, okay.
Honorable Chair, the Premier, honorable colleagues, angikwazi vele ukumshiya uhlabisa ngathi akekho umhlonishwa, and everybody.
It's your president and our president.
Yes, that's why I say I will not just leave him as if he's not there. Chairperson, I'm not convinced with the response on the question of the expenditure on the funeral of Inkosi Msebelang. Members of the portfolio committee will recall that I was the one who actually raised the question. And you remember that it has taken more than a year to respond. And I wasn't surprised, because I knew that it will be a challenge, because the escalation of this amount need a lot to be checked. I attended the funeral myself, not only as just a person, but I was one of the persons. I was one of
it's there. Yes.
Chair, I'm saying that I was not just attended to the funeral, but I was one of the speakers at the funeral, because I was represented one of the most senior statesmen in this province and South Africa. There was no large crowd, and I can tell you that for transportation alone, with my own estimation, would not even go beyond 500,000. But the first response that I received from the Office of the Premier was that most funding was used on the leveling of the road to the into where the funeral took place. But it doesn't appear now in the latest response. And secondly, there was no person who was actually doing a sign language. So you can see that to me, this is not the real a reflection of the money that was actually spent. Beside the fact that I went to school with almost 3 of the sons of Ilang. I'm not talking about Msebelang, Nkosi Ilang. And then I don't want to expose them, but some I was able to discuss with them and check whether with their own estimate how much that was spent. So to me, I'm not really happy with the response, and I think that we need a fresh response. As per Honorable Tlabisa is saying, we talk about 3.5 and at the end is 3.9. It's a reflection that these funds or figures are taken somewhere and they are tried to cut and paste of some sort. But I was there and I knew what happened. And even the funeral service started even almost at 1 o'clock because there were no people there.
Chair
I
Mngqwanga.
beg you, Chair.
Chair, mute. Chair, mute.
Mngqwango.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Chair. Chairperson, I'm not going to repeat what other colleagues have said on this matter. This matter was debated, I think, even from the last term, and it's coming now to this term. And my proposal, without wasting time, because we're going to sit here, keep asking questions, and I don't think we'll get answers in terms of how each and every cent was spent. I want to propose, because the Premier is in part of this meeting, that maybe the Premier initiate an investigation on how the monies were spent, and if they were correctly spent, and if there was no corruption. I think the investigation will make it easier for everyone to fully understand what transpired and how money was spent, because if I'm not mistaken, it was before the Premier, it was before his term when this happened. So I will suggest, Honorable Chairperson, through you, that we check if the Premier is willing or able to initiate an investigation so that a report can be tabled before this committee, and it will actually answer some of the questions about discrepancies in terms of the amount, etc., whether transport was used, how much was used. I think it might help, as Honorable Tlabisa was saying. We don't want a repeat of Madiba funeral saga in the province. So I move, Chair, that maybe we opt for investigation on this funeral expenditure. Thanks, Chairperson.
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 Chairperson. Chairperson.
Uhlala ku-mute, keep mute, Hlala.
Honorable Kwala, Honorable Chiliza, any other take? Let me take a list now, because seemingly it's like the members want to comment after the members have provoked them.
But thank you, Chair.
It's Honorable Kwala, Chiliza, any other member? No, so it's Honorable Kwala and Honorable Chiliza. Over to you, sir.
No, my chair was only now to support the proposal that has been made by the honorable member Mngqwanga for the Premier to do investigation.
Yeah, okay. Honorable Chiliza.
Chair, I feel that I have to say something on this matter, because I was part of the funeral. Unfortunately, just like Mr. Honorable Kwala was part of the speakers. And indeed, it's my hometown and my church where I But I just want to raise two concerns, Stan. Okay, the The justification of concerns regarding the alleged abuse of funds, to me, they are not accurate. I'm trying to try and correct the situation because I was there few days and until the final day. I don't dispute if members feel that it must be investigated because maybe it is suspected that some funds were misused. I don't have a problem with that. But the justifications, I do have a problem. One, the starting late of the meeting of the funeral. The funeral did not start late. It started exactly on the time that was planned for, and if someone because of the processes of the church has remember that was the leader of the church, and the processes had to be followed. So the funeral started in time, and there was no delay in terms of the pulling the crowd. It did not delay because there was no crowd. There was no people there. People were there in numbers. And remember, the church on its own has got its own members, and the local community was there. And even those who were passed in or transported in were there. So there was no shortage of the crowd there. And the funeral did not start late. It started in time. That was the right time. Remember, that was the leader of the church. Funeral could not start in the morning because of the arrangement of the processes of the church. So I'm just trying to. I thought I've been listening, and I thought that no, I have to correct some of the concerns because I was there myself. But if members feel that there was an abuse of funds and it has to be investigated, I don't have a problem with that. But I have to correct the justification of the concerns. They are not well justified to me in terms of it starting late because there was no people there. That is not true.
Okay.
I have to correct that, Stalo. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm not trying to offend anyone, but I thought I must correct. Thank you.
No, it's your right, honorable member, to really put forward what you understand about this funeral. Colleagues, I think the challenge here is around the fact that when the presentation was done for this funeral of Nkosi, they indicated that 3.5 was used. The only challenge now that the members are challenging is the fact that when the breakdown was done, it goes to 3.9. Maybe this is the inconsistency in the reports, in the same reports that is taking place, that one was thinking that it needs to understand it, to say, what is it really? Because now we are engaging on a discussion. The discussion was that day. But the problem is that now when we look at the minutes, it shows that the presentation is 3.5 and the breakdown is different from what the committee was told. So this is the challenge that we are facing now in this particular matter. Can I hand over to the department to clarify some of the questions, because that one really it needs to be taken back. I don't think we can correct this inconsistency on the amounts that were given to the colleagues, but other comments and the questions that were there. Honorable Kwala, you want to say something before I hand over to the department?
No, mind chair. No, mind chair. I only want chair to say that I stand with the first report, or I mean the statement that I made, and I don't want to. I respect the last speaker. I respect what he says, but I don't want to go further because remember that it was not only the provincial government that was actually injecting money to support the funeral. There were other.
No, honorable, can I indicate Honorable Chiliza is not arguing about the money. He indicated very clearly to say that he can't oppose any commission that can investigate around the issues of money. But what he was contesting was the fact that the reasons that is being advanced to say the funeral started late. According to him, he's saying that this is the protocol of the church, that if the leader of the church has passed on, the funeral doesn't start in the morning. But on the issue of the funds and so on, there is no dispute around that in this meeting at the moment. It was the reasons being advanced.
No, I don't want to argue with the chairperson, but the point I'm trying to raise is that I'm lying that the crowd was not a big crowd. So I cannot just fold my arms and say I will agree because now as if I was sleeping in that funeral. That's why I'm trying to raise that issue.
Okay.
Is not equal to the amount that we are talking about. Whatever justification can be made, but it is not equal to that amount.
No, that one we are not sure. That's why I think Honorable Mngwango was saying it needs to be investigated and then we get the facts. That was what was raised because all of us here, we can't come up with the precise answer to say that the cost was so much. That's why we are also disputing the fact that there is a presentation of 3.5, but when the breakdown comes, it's more than what was presented before us. So it gives us a confusion on that part. I don't think there is any argument around the issue of wanting to know exactly how much did this funeral cost, because we are getting different reports on the same matter.
Yeah, Chair.
Chairperson Mngwango.
Oh, Honorable Mngwango and then Honorable Ntshangase.
Chairperson, you're quite correct. I made a proposal which was seconded by Honorable Kwala, but I'm not clear whether it's now our committee decision to investigate this funeral expenditure, because you are now referring to officials' response without saying whether this is going to be a decision of this committee that will require investigation. And I think, Chairperson, the investigation will also avoid this miscommunication now where you find other members have a view that says there was never a corruption and some are saying there might be allegation of corruption. And Chair, I'll give you a background, for example. When this matter was discussed, there was an issue where members of the family in Gwashembe, some were saying they don't even know where that money from government went and how it was spent. So investigation will address those issues, Chairperson. Hence, I want to say, let's agree that this committee will, because the Premier is in this meeting, Premier will initiate this investigation. Thanks, Chairperson.
Yeah, thank you. There is a proposal and a seconder, and I invited other members, maybe if they have got different views on that. And then I I summarize the decision of this item.
Yes, Chair, Tim.
Honorable NR, Tim.
Yeah, no, Chair, I don't have a problem. I don't have a background on the issue, but I'm worried the way we want to take resolution on the basis of engagement, because I meet somebody from the family and he relates a story to me, and then I come to a portfolio committee and say I met a relative, and then we spoke, and therefore it must be. Is that how investigations are conducted? Because to me there is a report that is saying, as you are saying, the report doesn't tie with the previous one in terms of the total amount. The breakdown is different. So therefore, one, that must be then investigated. You are correct to say it must go back. But I want us to be guided in terms of how are we proposing investigations. as a portfolio committee when we ourselves have concluded, because you have a member who says I was there, and if I was not there, how then do I agree that indeed there's something wrong? Because I was not there. And whoever was there was not there on behalf of a portfolio committee, was there on the capacity, whatever capacity that they were in there. So I want us to understand exactly what is it that we said must be investigated, whether people were there. We want to investigate that, how many people were there, and then so on. What is it that we're investigating? So that, because if we say we believe that the money that was used in the funeral, then we must investigate that to say how are we arriving at that, so that the premier is good. We are making the work of the premier is so that the premier understands clearly how are we getting this information, and is this information supposed to be used by a portfolio committee? We must remember we are a portfolio committee of the legislature. We cannot then involve rumors in our working. Get the rumor there, we bring it, get the rumor there, because it will create the same confusion as if now one is defending, the one speaks, it seems as defending, the one speaking another is seen as someone who is advancing a particular agenda, which I don't think we are working very well at this committee, and I don't want us to find ourselves having that confusion, Chair.
Okay, Honorable Changase.
Thank you.
Can I come after?
Honorable Changase.
Chairperson, I also think the officials are part of this meeting. And the item in front of us, we are making recommendations. I think I'll support Honorable Mthembu. If from the officials there's anyone who can give us a clarity on the matter, can that official do that? If there's no one, then can we defer the matter back and they give us the correct figures in the next meeting, so that we'll be able to take a decision what to do, what needs to be done on the item if we are not happy on the about the response that they were going to bring to us on the next meeting. If there's anyone, can they give us a response? If there's no one, I suggest that we defer the matter for the next meeting with the correct figures.
Okay.
Chair.
Who is that?
Chair. Teresa.
Oh, Honorable Teresa, I will request that we don't really argue on this matter outside the report, so that when we take a decision, we take an informed decision. We must not take something, what happened there. Let us look at the report, because I think Honorable Mthembu is correct to say that if we will debate this matter attaching on the knowledge because we were there, it will become a problem. But if we'll discuss the matter as Honorable Hlabisa was raising it, to say that there is a confusion around of the figures. Even myself, when I look at it, I said when they were presenting to us, it was 3.5. When the breakdown is being done, it's 3.9. But let us not engage on what happened in the funeral. I think Honorable Mthembu is correct. We can't debate because we're in the funeral. We are debating because we are given a report before us and we are not happy about the accountability around the amount that was being used, because it comes in different figures. I think that's how we must approach this matter. Because now to say that I know somebody, I met with somebody, or I'm part of the church is not something that will empower us as a committee. When we deliberate on the matter, we look at the report, we see what is inconsistent, we need a clarity on that, and the officials are here because now we have opened a debate. Actually, matters arising are not for debate of the previous meeting. Is to get a progress report and get the clarity on the inconsistency of the responses that are coming from the department going forward. So, Honorable Teresa, I will give you, and then we are going to close, because this is not the matter for discussing. It's matters arising. We are raising the matters. You know, if we defer the matter back and they must come back with it, it's where we are going to deliberate and take an informed decision when they come back with the figures, because this matter is not for discussing, it's for matters arising. We raise the matters, And then if there are issues that we think they are not in line with our understanding, we defer the matter back. They come with the report, we deliberate, and then we take a decision. Can I give it over to you, Honorable Chiliza? But
Yes,
don't counteract
thank you,
what the other member has said. Just put your point around the report.
I'm not going to do that, but I have to inform the meeting that, you see, if we are going to take resolutions based on personal observation, definitely some people will have to come up with their own observations as well. But I fully agree with Velasa and others. What we are trying to do now, as I'm saying, we are trying to take a resolution of investigating based on personal observations and hearsays, what we heard some of the church members saying. So I fully support Velasa, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, honorable members. Can I give it to the officials and then I will summarize at the end on the decisions that we are going to follow, honorable members?
Chair, can Umthembu mute his mic because we can see which we are. Yakalim follow.
Okay. Hey, can you even close your camera when you are busy with something, because this is an official meeting, sir? I think Honorable Kwalu ibonile isaqala lento ukuthi ifanelekile sithi sisemhlanganweni sibe sisemakhishini futhi. Ayibonile mphephetho siyayivala manje. I give it back to the department to comment, and then after that I will summarize the way forward on how are we going to deal with this particular matter. Is the department around? Hey. Hello, department. Hello, who's representing the department?
Good morning, honorable members.
Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, can you request to, yeah, he has gone, because Honorable Ntem was still eating and we can see him.
No, sir, Vali. President. Sesimtshelile ukuthi nesingaganiwe sokwenze njani ke la.
Singazi nje kwi-portfolio committee remember.
Okay. Yes, who is leading the department today? Unfortunately, I just welcomed the department, but I don't know who's the head of the or who's heading the delegation.
Honorable members.
Yes, ma'am.
It's Figile Ndlovu here from the Office of the Premier.
Yes, Doc.
Together we have colleagues from Finance, Mr. Emily, Mr. Suratan, and Mr. Raki.
Can we see you, ma'am? Doc, can we see you? Can you open the camera so that we can see who we are speaking to? Okay, thank you. This is Dr. Ndlovu. You are the leader of the delegation, ma'am?
Yes, honorable members.
Okay.
Good morning, honorable chair, honorable members, premier, and colleagues. We have noted the responses, and I think I would want to start by apologizing in terms of the reports, and we've taken notes from the Office of the Premier. And I know that you've raised these issues with us a couple of times, many times that we've said in the portfolio committee. The issue of the report that the members are raising that requires the difference between the figures that were submitted earlier and the final figure that was eventually submitted in the breakdown. I think, honorable members, from just a generic point, there is a challenge. I think when the initial one was when we were just responding according to the report, just to say what was the figure, around figure. But when we went down to the breakdown, then you are forced to go to each item and collate it. But what we request, and I think we will make that request, is to go back as the Office of the Premier, go back and relook ourselves between the units that we're implementing and the finance side where the expenditure gets processed, and reconcile the figures. I think that would be the right word. Reconcile the figures and bring back a proper report to the meeting, rather than us trying to answer. I think once we've only reconciled as the office, it will be easier than to respond. And also to even bring back what had made us miss certain items in our initial report. That will be the request. Thank you.
Okay, the other matters for training academy, youth empowerment. Have you ever done do you really understand where these particular projects are? Have you visited them? Maybe we want you to deal with those and then we finalize everything. Training academy, it's the expenditure that is there, which is 20.7 million, but the indication is that it was a design that was done, or whether everything must go back and then.
Honorable members, on the youth side, I think the list that is compiled is the group that had been put together that did receive the funding. Before the breakdown, the colleagues in youth did check in terms of the functionality of the youth that had been funded. And in our recent meeting, what we've agreed is that because of the lockdown, and we know that most of the SMMEs had been closed, we are not able to say at this point who is functioning. But there is a decision in the office that we've asked the youth to go and relook at all of them and see who at this point, as of May, is functioning and what are they doing. And we had also made a commitment as the office. I think in the youth section, we will definitely update the list to put even the addresses of the youth that we are trying
the beneficiaries.
Yes, even with their contact details. I think that we would submit, honorable members, without honorable chair, without anything. We'll just submit with the names, the contacts, the addresses. But we've also asked our youth section to go and relook, because we all understand that at this point, most of the SMMEs are having a challenge. And then we will be able to bring back a verified report in terms of where we are. The last one, in terms of the academy, the designs and everything, as the report stipulates, had been done, and that was the expenditure. And unfortunately, members, as we indicate, is that when the cost-cutting measures came and the funding was not available, the project was then stopped to look at the issues of funding. But all the work that has been done in terms of the initial work and the money that was spent had been accounted for, because the plan was everything was in plan to deliver on that project until the issue of funding came through.
Okay, thank you very much. I think you have responded to all the questions of the colleagues. As the summary that I'm summarizing now, that these reports, like the one that was a burning issue, funeral of Inkosi, and the amounts that were used, it must be taken back, because we can't take a decision on the matters arising. It must be taken back and come back with a report. And when the report comes to us and we are not happy, I think the proposal that were made by the colleagues to make an investigation, we are going to take it there if we are not satisfied with the report that the officials are giving us back. Because really all the members, all of us, we are not happy about these inconsistencies, in particular around the issue of the budget and the amounts that were spent, because we must play an oversight role on the expenditure of the budget, whether it is spent in accordance with the predetermined objectives. So we can't just take it easy to say that the money was spent, it was budgeted for, but because of the inconsistencies, we are saying all these matters must be taken back and be reported back. When you report back, it's when we are going to see whether we take the decision to investigate this, because we want the funds to be accounted for. Our task as the oversight role is one of following the money, and we see whether where it has landed, it is giving the value for money. So we are going to deal with that, colleagues. We'll take it back and deliberate on it, because it's not what we are really expecting for the department to be inconsistent. But we take that Dr. Ndlovu is indicating that it comes from different departments. When they put it together, sometimes there was a mistake, and the finance, the department, the unit of finance will be in a position to account to us when they come back with the report going forward. And also on the issue of the training academy, no, we are having a serious concern that the project was not finalized, which means to say that we are not getting value for money. Because if you come up with a project, it must be completed. This is one of the things that we are not happy, that we want to get a report that is indicating, because our understanding is that before you start a project, you do a feasibility study, you do preparations, everything, because the feasibility study will tell you that are you going to have the resources to finalize that particular project. Really, we are not happy. It's a waste. I think as we are saying that we'll be coming back with this report, we'll discuss it, taking it forward, because our understanding, we are not technocrats, but we do understand that before you start a project, feasibility studies, calling every stakeholders to be part, to assess whether this particular project is going to be successful. It may be successful because the resources are there. You can't start a project and then in the middle of nowhere, you said you don't have resources, because this is waste of government money. It's waste of government money. So colleagues, thank you very much for your contribution. We are still going to deliberate on the concerns that we raised. I don't know whether it's COVID-19 now. Honorable members, I will request the Premier to have a closing remarks, and then we call the meeting for today.
Chairperson?
Yes, sir. Yes, Honorable Mmango.
Quick one, before the Premier. Can the department in our next meeting come up with a clear explanation on 4 million transfer from COGTA? I saw the response, it's not really clear. Can they provide a clear explanation as to why that money was transferred and for what? Because there was a lot of confusion. They were saying they don't know why the money was transferred. What they gave in this reason is not clear. Can they go and review that, please?
Okay. Thank you very much. I also saw that, because our concern was around the issue of the agreement. But the response there is very vague. It's not what we really asked the department to explain to us, because we wanted to know who requested the money, and then they have indicated what the money was for. But there is no indication to say that a department like COGTA can just transfer the money. They don't have that right to transfer the money without any agreement. that is there, because the money, we're told it was committed in the COPTA. It was committed for in different areas to perform the service delivery. But I agree with you, Honorable Mwango. They must come back with that one. I do peruse and look at that one, and I see that their response are just general. They are not really talking to what we requested as a portfolio committee. Thank you very much, honorable members. Thanks for your contribution. Thanks for the staff. We'll request our honorable premier to make a closing remark. Also appreciate the work that the premier is doing and always being with us in our challenges. Honorable premier, together we can do more with your department.
No, thanks, Chair, and thanks to all members. We have taken note of all issues that have been raised. Definitely, we will also follow on those issues and ensure that in the next meeting, we provide comprehensive report. We will also internally try to look on those issues and ensure that our reports are fully accurate and reflect the state of affairs as it is. Thanks, Chair. We wish to apologize for all of these glitches, but we commit that when we come back, we will be well prepared. Thank you.
Thank you very much, honorable members. The meeting stands adjourned. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. I think when we come back, you must open your mute, honorable Mthembu. Thank you very much, honorable members. Thanks, honorable premier.
Honorable Zunga phela. Zungavuka nje ngisuke la ekamera ngigqoka isudu ngiza la.
Hayibo somhlanganweni, this is official.
No, if you look at the rules, we are saying that we must be professional because these particular meetings are being viewed outside
officials.
ourselves. Yes, so, we must be professional in our process. And remember, we are committed on the portfolio of premier.
Yes.
You must have that. In this meeting, you must look like you are in the portfolio of the premier.
I'll argue this with politicians. Let me leave it for now. It's fine.
Yes,
Let me.
Okay, thank you very much.
Honorable Makos.
Thank you very much. Nice to be together. Thank you very much to our officials. I think our officials are going to analyze these reports now, and then we will have the study group in different political parties look at our reports and then come back and input on the reports. And we appreciate that the premier was on our side when we around the issue of accountability. Thanks, colleagues. Oh,
thank you.
Thank you. Oh, Skim Sam.
Ngizosapota umvelase kuleli lesuthi masiagwesha.
I know. I agree. So into ye legislature hayi ukuthi siza nama rules amatsha. Awekho ama rules esiwashintshile. Bukani lapha ngenkathi sishintsha ama rules ngenxa ye COVID-19 le ye dressing code akazishintsha. Still nama rules.
I'm not in the house, the legislature. I'm in my house, yeah. So I'm not sure whether the rules.
No, you are in the meeting of the legislature. You are in the meeting of the legislature.
No, I'm going back.
No. Mvelas.
No sale intweni ngisanda ukunifundisa ukubamba i-meeting kwi-Microsoft manje sekufanele hayi ngiyangihlupha.
Okay, siyabonga ke colleagues.
Honorable Chair, honorable members, before the final financials have been audited by the Auditor General. So, in terms of the budget performance, it's not for the fourth quarter; it's for the whole year.
No,
Yeah, and
CFO, I don't know what's happening with your line. We have a challenge in getting you. Can you please try and move again? You were getting better.
okay. Now, no.
Honorable Chairperson,
Yes.
if I may suggest, maybe he can exit just for a minute and come back again. It normally helps at times. It's not a panacea, but it's something that he could just try.
Thank you, Honorable Hlongwa Madlala. CFO, can you exit and come back?
Okay, thank you.
Chair, what should this guy Lucas?
Uzophelelwa yi-network. Bese kuthiwa uyasapothantshwa.
Shaya insimbi babukhawula lapha esikoleni.
Abese buye sethi asimbhalansiswe.
Uma sekhuluma umntana enkosi angiboni ukuthi uzophikiswa ubani.
Kunzima kuleli komiti, yazi kunzima.
I'm back, Honorable Chair.
Now we can hear you. Thank you, Honorable Hlongwa Madlala. I didn't know that you are an IT specialist.
Some IT knowledge.
You are an IT specialist, Honorable Linda.
I think so. Yes, Honorable Chair, in terms of the presentation, it's a pre-audited financials. Moving on to the next slides, we find that the budget of the department, we were initially given 54 point, can we move the slides, please? Can we move on to the next slide, please? Yeah, the main appropriation of the budget was 50.022 billion, and then we received rollover of 25.6 million. And Honorable Chair, honorable members, during the course of the year, we received a further 100 million for the infrastructure grant. So if you move the slide a little higher, you'll see that the total amount that the total budget is 54.188 billion. In terms of the next slide, moving on to the next slide. Hello, can you move on? Yeah, I think we skipped one slide, but it's nevertheless it deals with all the programs, the budget per program and the expenditure per program. For program 1 regarding administration. the expenditure. Sorry, Chair. Can I continue?
Continue, CFO.
No.
Continue.
Yeah. The expenditure was 1.9 billion, or it was at 101.6% spent. And in this program, the department overspent by a net amount of 30.9 million. Regarding compensation of employees, we were underspent by 4.752 million. The underspend was due to delays in the filling of critical posts, especially advertised for HR and finance in head office and the districts. The goods and services was overspent by 7.9 million.